I mean, they basically had one play. They had one play.
They had one play. Yeah. I don't really know what it is, but it feels like the it feels like that we don't actually start playing defense until third down.
Well, we definitely don't start playing defense until they score their first touchdown. Welcome to My God, a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I review Georgia's 38-10 win over Tennessee. We talk about our experiences on Saturday and what stood out to us during the game. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGottaPodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at MyGottaPodcast. Finally, we'd love for you to check out our presenting sponsor, Oxia Time, at OxiaTime.com. That's AXIATIME.com. Now, let's join the conversation in progress.
We're back. How about them dogs, Jim?
How about them, JP? How about them?
How about them? I like that. I like that new hoodie you got there.
Yes, arrives today from our friends at Home Field Apparel. It's pretty nice, actually. It's quite comfy. I do like it. So yeah, shout out to Home Field, improving the gear game even more. Homefield.mygottapodcast.com if you want to check anything out yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you can rip the G like Jim is.
There you go. Yeah, I got to add more to the arsenal for the Friday fit picks, I guess. Although I generally only do that when I'm going to the game. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should add my home game attire, watching from home.
Absolutely.
I usually don't do that.
You should.
So, John, you didn't open with just as we predicted, because we actually weren't super far off.
We weren't super far off. Yeah, no, it was pretty close.
I feel like this was the most, we were the closest on this one of anything for a while.
I know, right? It really was just as we predicted.
It really was. Yeah, man. What, you guys had you had a big morning. You guys had a photo shoot, right? Wasn't family pictures? Am I getting my days right? That was Saturday morning, right?
It was Saturday morning. Yeah, that was actually, I had, it's like a classic, husband, brain fart. Like we had family photos on Saturday. Like that week after we recorded, I was like kind of like eyeing prices to see like maybe I could go, but we had pictures on Saturday. There's no way.
Too funny.
But yeah, we had family photos in Atlanta, over at Wynn Park, which is like right in the heart of Midtown, which I guess is maybe foreshadowing for this weekend. But yeah, over in the Ainsley Park area, which if you've never been there, it's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful area of Midtown. You feel like you're in like the suburbs as opposed to like in the middle of actual Atlanta, legit Atlanta.
Okay.
But yeah. So we had family photos, and then we came back. I got wrapped up in yard work. It had been a few weeks for me to clear the leaves, as we have to do out here because we basically live in the woods. So I had to clear the leaves off, and actually was overestimating the amount of time it was going to take me to do that. So I actually watched the game on delay. Oh, I also had to do my pregame run, so that was another thing after the photos. The photo timing was changing constantly, which is a whole other story in and of itself. Absolutely mind-boggling how some people operate, but it is what it is. But yeah, I did the pregame run after I got back just to make sure I got it in, and then tried to cram in yard work, and that took too long. So I ended up like I was kind of quiet on the text thread.
I could tell all morning. I knew something was going on. I was like, "Where's John? John's a little quiet this morning. Something's going on."
Yeah. So I was blowing leaves, and I had to catch up, and Carter was not happy. Like I came in.
Did he have to like wait for you to start it? Okay.
No.
So he's watching by himself.
He was watching by himself, and I came in, and he gave me the look, and I was like, I actually walked in through the door and gave him like the Dumb and Dumber, la 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 la, turn it off. So we ran upstairs, took a shower, and I told him, I was like, before I came down, I was like, Carter, pause the game, and rewind it before I get downstairs. And he was like, "Come on, Dad."
That's hilarious.
I was like, "I want to watch it live." And so like he watched it. He watched it live upstairs while I caught up downstairs.
Okay.
And and he I could hear him like yelling and screaming upstairs. So I knew that something good was about to happen. And
Amazing.
it was the he was like yelling and screaming like, "Oh my God, what a play. It was amazing." Like, it was the Dylan Bell pass.
Mm. Mm.
But yeah, I ended up catching up. Like it's amazing how fast you can catch up with
Right.
no commercials.
I am you know, I feel like that was a quality dad move on letting him watch it live upstairs and you catching up instead of just being like, "Sorry, Carter," and making him rewatch everything with you.
Making him relive it.
Yeah. That was a good move. That was funny. I'm trying to remember because our girls were gone like at the beginning of the game. They had just gone, like they actually did grocery shopping for the day. Because we didn't have anything to eat for dinner, so they went and did like grocery shopping for dinner, and they bought all the ingredients for the bean dip. And so they were out at the store while everything was haywire right at the beginning. And it was actually like when they got home with all the bean dip ingredients, that was the turning point of the game, which was basically to say after the first play. I guess.
Which is after the first play, yeah.
But the way that I knew you were behind on things was you texted me and you were like, "Did you tweet the official hashtag?" So that was when I first started to have my suspicions. But yeah. So, official hashtag was tweeted. Like I had my hat. Kim was sitting in her seat on the porch, and yet still, first play of the game, boom, 75-yard touchdown run. Mm-hmm. And so I guess since you were blowing leaves at this point, like for me, like my phone like lit up, like I got texts from like everyone, and like, many, first drive touchdown again, everything's fine. I listened to the podcast, we're good. And I was like, well, I mean, we expected them to score in the first drive, but not the first play. It's like, wasn't ready for that.
You weren't ready for that one. No, I wasn't ready for that either. But I will have to say, like Kirby's joke after the game was pretty amazing, and like I don't know that you could have asked for anything better from Kirby in that moment.
I loved how he was like total deadpan too.
Yeah, total deadpan. I was like, everybody was like joking about how like Nick Saban was smiling after the press conferences preseason or whatever, and it's like, look out, like guys, Kirby's joking with the media post game about getting scored on defense on the first play of the game on a 75-yard touchdown run. Look out.
Yeah. What was it like? I told Coach Drew we just love score.
Yeah, just get it over with. Just get it over with.
But he didn't laugh or anything. And it was like everyone just like all the reporters laughed, and he just like this just sat there with like a straight look on his face. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I hesitate to say that it's foreshadowing for what we could potentially see in the SEC championship game, but what we did to him is I feel like was a practice round. So like here's the build up for everything thus far, right? So like we had Ole Miss, which had a mobile quarterback,
right,
and we were able to basically effectively shut him down. Joe Milton is by and large like he hasn't been like a lighted up quarterback. So like he's getting a lot of stuff done with his legs. Jalen Milroe is kind of the same way, although he's starting to come on as a passer lately. But anyway, like it just feels like that this entire stretch here is like just tailor made for us every step along the way. We've got a mobile quarterback, which we've all been concerned like got to set the edge in the Ole Miss game. I was concerned about setting the edge in the Tennessee game and allowing him to break free. Gary actually called it out on the Tennessee game. Like there was a couple of plays where they were able to get to the edge really easily, and it seemed like our guys crashed down as opposed to just staying home and establishing the edge, which maybe that was what the play call was. But like there were multiple times when they got to the edge but it wasn't enough to make a difference, or it wasn't enough to like gash us. So I just feel like that it's like a progression of practice, right?
Right.
And not only that, but like all the speed of play and all those kinds of things. So I don't know. It feels like that they've been, able to practice mobile quarterbacks a lot lately, which is what I feel like we're going to see with the SEC championship game coming up for us. Which I know I don't want to look past Georgia Tech, but it is what it is. That's the big game, right? Like that's the next big game on our schedule, and
Mm, mm. No comment. We not how I roll, JP. That's not how I roll. I will say the edge setting issues from this game were more like with the backs. Like the running backs were getting like I don't know. Actually, I guess it was. I think the one that Gary said. I think it was a run play because I specifically remember him saying that. He's like, man, he got to the edge so fast. It was like they just like gave it to him. It was kind of weird. I definitely texted my dad early in the game, like our run defense is driving me crazy. Because it wasn't just the 75-yard touchdowns on their first couple of drives. There were a few run plays, but then it was just like, like little things here or there, but they would get like an 8-yard run, but then they would do nothing, I mean, they basically had one play. They had one play.
They have one play. Yeah. I don't really know what it is, but it feels like that we don't actually start playing defense until third down.
Well, we definitely don't start playing defense until they score their first touchdown.
Exactly. But like seriously, like every time I felt like that it came down to like, every time was like every time like they would get within 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, like, and they would get nothing.
Well, that was weird, right? Because it wasn't even like,
I was super worried about the 3rd and mediums and 3rd and shorts, but like
I know
we didn't flinch at all. They couldn't do anything.
They couldn't get them. Yeah, you want to keep them, like 3rd and long and stuff, and we didn't even necessarily do that. But it didn't matter. So
but yeah, I mean, so you had that one play, 75 yards. This is the drive summaries, right? Like one play, 75 yards. Next series, 3 plays, 7 yards, punt. Next series, 3 plays, 7 yards, punt. Next series, 6 plays, 29 yards, punt. Next series, 5 plays, 14 yards, punt. Next series, 9 plays, 56 yards, field goal.
Yeah.
Next series, 3 plays, -1 yards, punt. I mean, literally, you see the 5 plays, punt. 11 plays, 56, 38 yards. They missed a field goal. 8 plays, turnover on downs. 3 plays, end of game. Like,
I mean, that is just domination.
I mean, that is sexual. multiple weeks in a row, we get a literal laundry list of punt series.
Yeah,
and not even that. Like, just absolute obliteration.
Also, the broadcast team obviously listens to My God, a Podcast, and we're over it. Dude, how many times did they talk about ambidextrous punter? Like, is he going to punt with his right leg or his left leg?
Yeah, which I kind of feel like I can't remember which leg it was, because I remember, like, I mean, the guy had so many punts in the game that you could tell, like, I feel like he should probably punt right-footed or something like that.
He definitely punted right-footed more often than left-footed. From what I recall.
We almost got to him at one point, which I thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah, we did. And then I don't know. I guess while we're on the special teams, like Mekhi Muse, heck of a game just fielding punts. Like there were a lot of hidden yards that he saved, where those balls were coming in low, and he ran up and caught fair catch in a crowd. It's that's the kind of thing that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but that ball could roll, who knows, 5, 10, 15 yards further if he doesn't make those catches. He did a really good job fielding punts in the game. Yeah. So,
I mean, especially given the fact that he had a lot of practice this game, and he hasn't exactly been, perfect in fielding punts all season long, so I would say.
Right.
So
right.
I imagine that's probably something that they practice. They're like, look, there's going to be a lot of punts. We're going to need you to practice this week.
Yeah. I guess the other thing the early fireworks were the Tennessee, the one play, and then Dolly Parton.
Oh my gosh. All right. So let's talk. Like, there's so much Dolly Parton hype, which like I love Dolly Parton. She's great, but
Yes.
like,
Yes.
I mean, there was a football game going on, and they were sitting there interviewing her the whole time. There was
With
a
the
football game going on.
and not just interviewing her, but like with the camera on her.
Yes,
Like, I mean, and that it was like long. Like it was a really long time. Like
it was really
it
long.
was to the point where like Kim was like, are we missing the game? Did we miss a play? I'm pretty sure we missed a play.
Yeah, like
It's so long.
I love you, Dolly, but like, bugger off.
It was yeah, it was excessive. It was excessive. But yes, loved Dolly Parton. Great. I mean, it's cool that she was there and sang Rocky Top. Although she was clearly not happy
She was not
about
happy.
the sound, that she couldn't hear the band or she couldn't hear anything.
She couldn't hear anything.
I guess her headphones weren't working or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
Kim was like, maybe because she was so mad, her people were like, you got to put her on TV for for this much time to make up it.
well, yeah. Plus, it was like a quasi like promo for her album too, which was like another weird
Right.
situation. Like, what?
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Why are we talking about this?
Yeah. It was weird. Okay, anyway, sorry. Had to bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you were watching at home for that game, like that's definitely something that stuck out. I mean,
Yeah.
talking about portions of the broadcast, that was a big portion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was. It was for real. Like it was
Never seen
extensive.
anything like it, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No.
Anyway,
But yeah. But so once after that drive, I mean, our offense, I will say, we're not so much worried about like the slow starts on the offense anymore. Offense came out firing. I mean, I know the first drive resulted in a field goal, but still, like, dude, Carson Beck was just like he was dealing in this game. He was on fire. I mean, there's a one stretch where he had like 11 straight completions.
yeah, yeah, he lit it up, man. I mean, there's a couple of plays that like, I mean, there's like one play to Brock that he kind of fastballed it in there that Brock probably should have caught it.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of plays there. I mean, he was 24 30 for almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah. I mean, if you go, I was watching with the SEC final on SEC Network this morning, and Ben Watson did like a segment, or just during their Georgia segment, Ben Watson kind of like took the clicker or whatever, and they were showing just the timing that he had and like the velocity he was throwing with. It was pretty cool. Like they would show, like they would freeze frame where the receiver had not even like made the break in their route yet. Like their back was still to Beck, and the ball was in the air. It was still like perfect. So it was one of those. I know the one you're talking about where Brock turned around and it was kind of in his face and he dropped it. But there was another one where he caught it, a similar thing. I think that was I believe that was a third down conversion. And the other one was the deep post to Rosemary Jack Saint. Incredible throw. And like the replay is really cool to see. I mean, the ball is like 10 yards down the field and Rosemary's not even looking yet. Turned around and it was right there. It was beautiful. And then the other thing is, I thought they did I thought it was a good broadcast, by the way. I felt like they treated it like it was the last Georgia Tennessee game. You know, like they brought back a lot of memories. They did a good job, I thought, of showing Stetson running throughout the years, right? Look at how Stetson did things on the ground against Tennessee all three times he started against them. And then that was the question of Carson Beck, right? Is could he create with his legs? And he did a good job of that again. I know they brought that up about Kirby saying like he's more athletic than you give him credit for. And he's definitely starting to show that.
He really is. Yeah. I would say that's an accurate assessment for sure. I think he scramble for like 2 first downs.
Yeah. I believe
maybe
so.
3.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least.
I can recall of at least 2.
Yeah.
One in the first half, one in the second half.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. He is
he's playing lights out, man.
Yeah, I mean he's still on that 250 yards passing streak. Like that's been the entire, like literally the entire season. So
yeah.
But and then the man of the day has got to be Dylan Bell, right?
I mean, there's some folks that are saying Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint, but I have Dylan Bell in that category for sure.
Yeah. I mean, both of them.
MVP of the game.
Well, so you got I mean, probably the biggest play was that what, like third down and 12 catch he made, where threw a fade up the sideline and it was a 50-50 ball and he went up and got it. I mean, that was a huge play. I mean, obviously he scored 2 touchdowns too, but it was that was probably the most impressive just receiver play for me.
Yeah, I mean, the receiving core played lights out. I mean, and we've talked about it previously this season. Talking about the depth that this team has. I mean, Ladd obviously, wasn't 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
he was out there, but like he didn't have any targets. Kirby mentioned that in the press conference as well, that he had something going on with his ankle. I guess I didn't know this before the game, but like he had not practiced all week long.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. I did finally go back and rewatch the rest of the Ole Miss game and find where it happened, because we were at the game and I know, like, we got texts like, "Oh, that didn't look good with Ladd," but we didn't hear anything. And then we didn't hear anything about it from Kirby like all week until we never heard anything from him. I know Graham posted on Dog Central like Friday night an update, but we hadn't heard anything about that all week. But it was actually blocking. It was a play when he was blocking. It is when he hurt his ankle against Ole Miss. He didn't even go out for a route. Like, it was a running play.
Right.
So, but it sounds like lower ankle sprain. Didn't practice all week. Tried to go, but Kirby said that he got he tightened up. So that's why they took him out, basically.
Yeah, I'm figuring that it was more of a precautionary situation to try to hold him from doing too much and making things worse for later in the season.
Well, when it became apparent that we weren't going to need him, game was in hand pretty quickly. We didn't need him, so
yeah, exactly.
No reason to risk injury at that point.
And then Rara went down too.
Yeah, foot. I think they said possibly foot sprain.
Some kind of foot injury. Do you think turf toe got him, Jim?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. That's extensive. That's extensive time off. So the other thing I want to talk about with Bell, though, because it was interesting, and I don't know if you probably weren't like live on the text thread at this point, but when Dillon Bell was the first running back off the bench in this game, which I was like, many people were very surprised. I think the text thread was kind of blowing up like, Dillon Bell, like where's Kendall? And then like there's kind of a flurry. Is Kendall Milton hurt? Everyone's worried. But now, having watched the entire game, I am convinced that Dillon Bell was the first running back off the bench in order to sell the trick play halfback toss. That's totally why he was in there. They wanted to sell that. It had to be believable.
It was the Bobo long con.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so then beyond that, have you seen the video that Maria Martin posted of it's pregame?
Yeah, the pregame.
Coming out of the tunnel, and Kirby's like patting Dillon Bell on the helmet, like pregame before the game. Like, oh, they knew.
I tweeted it. I tweeted that out, and it was like, look at this. Like, they, first of all, Kirby's just uber confident, right? He's just oozing confidence in that situation, and it happened to be Dillon Bell, and he's looking at Dillon Bell. He's like, he knew he was about to blow the doors off that place.
Man, I mean, what a game. What a game for him. So receiving touchdown, passing touchdown, and leading receiver in the game yardage wise, right? I think
Rosemary Jackson got him on the yardage.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're right. Okay. He was the second by a yard. Second leading receiver by a yard. Okay.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it was great because I think we've seen flashes of Dillon Bell. Unfortunately for Dillon Bell, he's got all these other receivers. You got Dominic Lovett, he didn't have the best game this time around, but like, it's anyone's game, right? Like you hear about Marvin Harrison, you hear about these wide receivers at all these other schools. It was the one player, right? It's like the one player that you are consistently hearing about. We don't have just one player. I mean, even Brock Bowers is not the headliner some games. You know what I mean? So like, that's just how amazingly deep this team truly, truly is that any game, any one of them can be schemed into a situation for success. And it happened to be Dillon Bell in this game. lads
Yeah.
out, rah-rahs out, like next man up, next man up.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, so yeah, you corrected me on Rosemary-Jacksaint being leading receiver by a yard. Huge day for him too, though, right? I mean,
It
man.
was a
So
big
he
day for him. Yeah.
catches a touchdown pass from Dylan Bell, has that huge post we talked about earlier. And then his other touchdown, his touchdown catch that was thrown by Carson Beck. Dude, that play, I love that play. Like Rosemary-Jacksaint worked his way all the way across the field, went through a lot of traffic. And there was also there's basically like two picks almost to get him so wide open. I don't, not an illegal pick, kind of like the legal ones where you make guys run into each other. It was beautiful. It was beautiful play design. I don't know. We looked a lot better in the red zone, I would say, this game than we've had some red zone woes earlier this season. Looked a lot better here today.
Yeah. I remember like watching that play, and my initial reaction was like, that's the Michigan play, right?
Mm.
But there's a guy on Twitter, Hayes Bringer to me or something like that. I think Chris Hayes, he's been posting these great videos, these breakdown videos of different plays and things like that. And he actually did a little mashup of the differences between the two different plays. They were not the same play.
Are you talking about the halfback pass?
The halfback pass, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah, but it looked the same, right? Like my initial reaction was like, "Oh my god, it's the same play!"
I had the same thought. So I did not see that video, but I just saw someone else who like quote tweeted this video or this play with the other play. It is very similar, but one, I think the Orange Bowl one was it was a handoff.
It was a handoff
out of the shotgun, and this one was like a under center. Started off looking like more like a toss sweep.
Yep, it was the toss sweep. Yep.
Yeah. It was beautiful. Hey, I mean, the Bobo has the tricks up his sleeve too.
It was perfect too, man. Like they didn't pay any attention to Marcus Rosemary. They didn't pay any attention to him at all on that play.
Yeah, he was standing there. He was standing there all by his lonesome, just waiting on the ball to make it to him, kind of like Veron Haynes back in 2001.
So, I'm gonna give a couple of what was 51-7. I'm gonna give him some flowers on this because he kind of was the first one to bring it up. But like, I agree. Was it that play that he was talking about where Gary like called it like exactly? Because there was one play when he was like, all the Gary hate or whatever, but Gary called it exactly right.
Oh, that was no, that was Coach Trill. Coach Trill sent us.
Oh, it was
yeah,
Coach Trill.
He sent us a text.
Which play was he talking about though?
Okay, so it was Coach Trill, but it was defense. So it was around why the first play of the game was so wide open.
Okay,
for Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I mean, perfect. So like,
yeah,
that's a perfect example. Like there were multiple points. If you're a Gary hater, this was not the game to hate on Gary, in my opinion, because he was right way more often than he was ever really wrong. Because basically, as soon as they snapped the ball and Dylan Bell took the toss, immediately, like as soon as they tossed it out, I said he could throw it, and he did. Like, I mean, he identified it before I even thought that was a possibility.
Yeah, it's funny. He did the same thing back in 2021 when we were at Tennessee. He was calling plays when remember James Cook like went in motion and was went from tailback to receiver, and he was like one-on-one. Seth's got a one-on-one, and he burned the DB touchdown. He called that one too. So
right.
Yeah. My only Gary complaint, he corrected himself. So it was on the Carson Beck interception that wasn't when we had an interception, but it was overturned because of defensive holding.
Mm-hmm.
They all were saying like, "Oh, there's no horrible call," and then they brought in the rules analyst, and he agreed, bad call. And then like they went to commercial and came back and had the reverse angle where you could see the guy tugging on his jersey, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, that was holding." So hey, once he got the angle, he could see it. He did correct himself.
Yeah, some of those things like you kind of wish that you had better angles, because on the first play of the game, talking about angles, like I mean, there was a defender holding was it CJ Allen?
CJ Allen.
there was a defender that was literally like bear hugging him. Like his hands were literally on the numbers, like hugging him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There was so many guys overran that play.
Right. But
So
that wasn't the only one. Like there were multiple. There was another one like where they were basically had the guy had his arms around Michael Williams when Michael was trying to, go after the quarterback or whatever. But yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
not all the plays went Georgia's way. That's for sure. But
Yeah.
Gary, this was not a game for the Gary haters for sure because I thought that he did a great job.
Yeah.
It was a good send off. It was a good send off for the series.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. All right. Why don't we take a brief moment to remind everyone that season 4 of My God, a Podcast is presented by Oxia Time. So Oxia Time is they're America designed, a Swiss made watches, custom watch company. You got to check out their 2021 and 2022 Georgia National Championship watch collection. The 2023 CFP watches are being designed now. We've actually already seen just the CFP logoed with the 2024 logo on there. Seen that design release, so they're coming as well. So head over to oxiatime.com. That's AXIATIME.com. Be sure to go check them out. You can use the code MyGottaPodcast to get a free presentation box to come along with your timepiece, so you can put it on display in your house when it's not on your wrist.
Right on. Watch still says that we're undefeated, Jim.
Still undefeated, still back-to-back national champions. Which why don't we run down some of the things that have happened, John? So
that's right.
So we're on a 28-game win streak. That is tied for the longest winning streak in SEC history. So we've got a chance to break that, set that record next week against Georgia Tech. Georgia has had 3 straight undefeated SEC regular seasons.
Can we like hover on that last point? That we could break the record against Georgia Tech, who was a founding member of the SEC.
That would be delicious. So 3 straight undefeated SEC regular seasons, which that was the Affleck trivia question, by the way, which was who was the last team?
I don't even remember seeing it.
Okay, so who was the last team to go undefeated in the SEC 3 years in a row? That was the Affleck trivia question.
Oh, okay. It was wasn't it like Alabama or something like that?
No, that's actually what I said. It was Georgia from 80 to 82.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. But we are the first ever team in SEC history to go 8-0.
8-0, yeah.
In the SEC 3 years in a row. So that has never been done before. So that's the second thing, right? So we already knew Georgia's first team to ever go to 6 out of 7 SEC championship games. But also now first ever to go 8-0 in the SEC 3 years in a row. Pretty crazy, man. History in the making.
These are the good old days.
Yeah, dude. It was so great. It was so great. And the fact, in hindsight, yes, it was frustrating at the time, but in hindsight, the 75-yard touchdown run gave they were so excited and they were so happy.
It allowed the soul-sucking nature of that game to just be fully optimized.
It did. And the skinny 10, his video.
That was so funny.
Which, if you haven't seen it, I'll try to describe it. So basically, has the 75-yard touchdown run by Tennessee, and then it just edits and it kept that score there. But then it was they've done it, and Tennessee fans rush the field, fireworks everywhere.
You should put that on the YouTube version.
Oh man, it is so good. It is so good.
Oh man, it's so good. It really is. So post game, the tweets that we were firing out, the reaction gifs and things like that was another post game storyline for you and I, because I feel like my notifications were melted for a period of about 8 hours.
RIP notifications, and apologies to everyone from Dog Central that I tagged on the GIF. If I what was it? It was the Javon Bullard GIF.
Yeah, which I thought was sword, but I guess it's a seatbelt.
I thought it was a sword too, but yeah, apparently it's seatbelt.
Strap in or something like that, or lock in, or I don't know. Someone can translate the use for us, please.
Yeah.
Well, I was confused because Carter, there's a baseball thing, when you strike someone out, you say sword or whatever. Carter, that was a big thing during the baseball season was Carter would see a strike and be like, "Sword," and I
Yeah,
thought that
dude.
that's what he did.
Yeah, yeah. But man, I mean, yeah, that GIF went that went a little nuts. So yeah, we
Did
had
you
that.
did you tag Hunter in that? Because then we could give him a taste of his own medicine.
I think I did. I think Hunter was tagged in that.
Amazing.
There was that. There was so you had already you had the video ready with like the we were trying to decide which song to use, and then my sister sent me a song, and I told me to tell you about the song, and I did, and then that ended up being the song for the video.
Yeah,
To
the
burn it down.
Chuck Norris coming out of the river or the water or whatever as the Georgia Bulldogs, and then just gunning down Tennessee. Yeah, I love that one. I had just for in case anybody is familiar with that video that we posted. The original song was supposed to be Tennessee River,
Right, right.
or wait, no, Whiskey River. It was supposed to be Whiskey River, but by Willie Nelson. But when she told me that, she's like, "You need to send this song to John, burn one down." Since we talked about
Ben Harper.
Ben Harbor, yeah. Since we talked
Yeah.
about burning down the stadium, that was great. That was great.
Yeah, it's good times. It was good times. Oh man. Let's see. You made some headway in coaches over unders, John. So moment by moment,
Moment by moment.
you're gonna keep chopping. So let's see. You went 6-2. I went 4-4. So you gained 2 spots on me. I'm still in the lead, 54-34 overall, but you're 48-40. I feel like I don't know, John. You were having all this doom and gloom. You're within striking distance, especially with considering we have the preseason ones to come back.
It feels insurmountable.
I will say the one that I was most proud of was that I nailed the hobnail boot references, because I said there will be one. There will be one as it starts, and then they won't come back to it, and that's what happened.
Nice.
So yeah, thanks, Coach.
I can't remember if I hit that one or missed that one.
You missed. You went over. I went under. So
yeah,
that was
in desperation mode.
That was a rare disagree on the most miscellaneous. And Coach actually had to track that down. But I agree with his assessment. That's how I remembered it. But like people were tweeting like right after that. Coach tweeted it. He was like, already won before kickoff. But it kind of it hung there for the duration. But yeah, man.
I'm gonna audit the game again.
Go back and rewatch.
I need a Deloitte. We need someone from Deloitte to audit this.
I'm telling you. It was only once. Yeah. So it was a good day, man. It was a beautiful outside. Did you watch the game inside or outside? You watched it inside?
No, we watched it inside. Like you said, I thought about going out, but like then I would have had to have played catch up even longer. I was already over budget on my time, so
got it.
I did end up having a fire outside afterwards, so that was nice.
We did too. We had a great fire. Like sometimes I struggle getting the fire like cooking right, and lit perfectly. We lit it like actually right before the fourth quarter. And then had that out there and kind of sat and watched some of the few other later games. Took a little break, watched some TV with the fam, but then I finished watching the night games. So it was a good day of college football. I mean, I know everyone kind of looked at it as a boring weekend, and I know there were a lot of boring matchups, but those 12 o'clock games were all really close. And then the night games delivered. Florida, got another L. There's another L in Florida. Still not bowl eligible yet. That game was nuts. The Washington Oregon State game in the rain was kind of crazy.
I saw a little bit of that.
It was a good day.
I saw a little bit of that one. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than it was.
Which one?
You go back and look at the Washington. I was really hoping that Washington was going to lose and kind of upset the apple cart, so to speak.
Yeah, wow, it was close. It was only a 2-point game. It was close, but yeah, kind of faltered late. It was super. It stunk to see Florida State's quarterback go down, though. That
was brutal.
That's throwing a wrench in the rest of the season too. Things are about to get really interesting.
Yeah, because if let's say everything transpires, we're in the CFP. If we're ranked 1 and they're ranked 4, now everybody's going to be talking about, you got Florida State without Jordan Travis.
Right. Right.
Great.
Right.
Great.
Well, they
There's
got to
an
get through.
asterisk on it.
Yeah, I guess we could maybe talk about that next episode, but they got to get through Florida first, and I guess Louisville too. But
So, all right. So here's a. I guess we don't really have too many examples of this. So I have a bone to pick with some of the stats that we're seeing take shape, particularly along the defense and offensive sides of the ball. So, dude, like if you look at the way that the season is kind of shaped out, like look at like the national rankings for like defense, for example. Like every single one of the top like 10 or 5 is like they're all Big Ten schools. Like, do we really think that the Big Ten is that great at defense? Like Georgia, for comparison, scoring defense, Georgia is ranked. We're ranked number 5, right?
Yeah.
Alabama is ranked 14. But Michigan 9 points a game. Ohio State 9 points a game. Iowa 12 points a game. Penn State 12.5 points a game. Like what?
So you're just wondering, is it really good defense, or is it just really bad, or is it bad offense in the Big Ten?
Is it really that good? Is kind of the thing. And then I'm pretty sure like it's kind of a similar story. Like on the flip side of the ball, like on the offensive side, it's kind of the same thing. Like you've got all these different like Big 12 teams in there. It's like I don't know. It's a whole lot of sus at the tops of these things, and it's going to be interesting to watch this shake out as the postseason goes, where all of a sudden you got teams like here at the end of the season, you got Florida playing Florida State. Like obviously Florida State's not going to be completely 100% on the offensive side, but like they've got to play an SEC team. So when the bowl games start coming around, it is going to be kind of interesting to me to see the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the Pac, whatever we're calling them now, Pac 12 or whatever they are.
They are still the Pac-12, but they're about to be the Pac-2. There's 2 teams left. Have you heard about did we talk about how like they're gonna keep all the money or something? Have you heard about this? There's something about like technically they're gonna be the only 2 teams left, and so they're saying that they get all the TV revenue or something like that, and they're gonna like hoard it or something. And like legally, apparently they do have a leg to stand on.
Interesting. So you're saying that when they go to do the disbursement at the end of the year, they're just going to keep all the money?
And apparently they want to use that money to like fund, attract teams to rebuild the Pac-12, like cherry pick schools from the Mountain West and whatever, and try to build out a new conference. So I don't know. We'll see.
I can't believe that there's 2 teams that are going to be still sticking around there. It just makes no sense to me.
Well, they just got left out. They didn't get picked, basically. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, they didn't get picked because they didn't like go out and try to get picked. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I hate all that stuff.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, exactly. I still like what a time to be alive in that, we just keep boat racing Tennessee at Tennessee. I just think back to like when I got to college, I was like, oh my gosh, we're never going to beat Tennessee. We beat them in 2000 when you were a freshman, and we tried the goalpost down. Just to see the way this rivalry has turned, the way we've turned it around, and it was another blowout in England. I mean, that was like we talked about. That's what's happened every time we've gone up there under Kirby. Blew them out again. I will say this. It was even worse than the score, I feel like, at the end of the day. I mean, 38-10, like it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, you run down those stats, and I'll kind of hearken it to Kirby's comments about the Heisman race, right? He literally said in the press conference that you don't need to run the score. We don't need to run the score up, kind of things.
Yeah.
That is exactly why people have been questioning this team all season long, because in their eyes, you score 40 points and we can just park the bus and just pack it in and just control the game from that point forward.
Right.
And with the exception of these handful of games, which I do have a little bit of a bone to pick with Kirby on this one, though, because like the game was well in hand in the 4th quarter, right? But Carson Beck was in the game until there was like 3 or 4 minutes left in the game or something like that.
It was kind of weird.
I texted the boys. I was like, why is Beck still in the game? Like, why don't they let Brock come up there and just run the offense like we did against Ole Miss?
Mm-hmm.
Because he ran the offense and we scored another touchdown and we put a 50 burger on him, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of weird too, and then I guess it kind of backfired. I mean, we had the one like the rare misfire with like the bad snap. It was a fumble and they got the ball. Because like to me, it actually felt like when Beck tried to back out there for that drive, I was like, oh my gosh, I guess Kirby, is he going to run it up? Like, is he mad? Like, is he going to try to run it up on Tennessee? And then we ended up not, scoring after that point. But I agree. I thought it was kind of weird. Okay, so also on the broadcast, they kept being like, Carson Beck's going to get a curtain call, and I was like, at Tennessee, that seems kind of weird. I thought that was kind of a funny thing to say. I was like, I guess it was just Georgia fans left in the stadium at that point, so maybe that would have made sense.
It was pretty empty. It was pretty empty after the third quarter, I think, right? Like, they cleared that place out pretty good. Something else I was going to mention that came to my mind, but I can't remember what it was now.
Brock Bowers being awesome. Did or did he not? Angry Brock Bowers. Which the rumor is that guy spit on his face. That's the rumor. But
he definitely was in a position where he did something to him in his face, whether it was something that he said or maybe he was talking. And when you're talking trash like in a violent manner, like you can spit a little bit. So maybe he didn't intend to spit, but I don't know. All I can say is that Brock, like, that's the first time I've ever seen that guy react.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, he flipped out. Delp came running in there. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, something happened. I will say he got asked in the post, like someone actually asked him, like in the post game, like directly said, "Did he spit on you?" And he was like, "Oh no." So, but who knows? He's not going to say yes, even if it happened. But yeah, dude, why are you trying to make Brock Bowers angry? Seems like a bad idea to me.
Yeah, seems like a bad idea for sure.
Yeah, man, his touchdown was sick. The way he twisted and extended over the goal line. There was a bit of he came up limping that one time. It was a little scary. It's like, stupid nail and turf.
That's what I was gonna say. You just hit it, like, Tate, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Tate Ratledge took a knock there. Have they updated anybody on that? Like, is there any updates on Tate?
What I just saw from Kirby's press conference. He said that he like banged his knee, like he hit, like his knee hit someone else's knee, banged knees. That they weren't sure that he tried, like he kind of tried to see, like, could he go back in? He couldn't. But we don't know yet.
We're thinking like a deep contusion kind of situation, or
I have no idea. So
because they actually did the X-rays for Rara, because Kirby was saying that the X-rays came back negative. So we know for sure Rara was a negative X-ray, but they didn't say anything about Tate's. Like, did they even get X-rays?
So, well, Kirby said no X-ray or no damage there. I don't know what that means. And then he told me he thinks he'll be able to play this week. So we'll see. That's what he said after the game.
That's good.
Yeah,
I would say that that's promising.
Yeah, agreed.
Obviously, we're gonna have to wait and see if he gets the Kirby kiss of death, but
right.
The hopeful kiss of death. But
yeah. Let's see. I don't know how much else you have, but I did just want to say before we wrap, remember, hit up mygodapodcast.com. We've got the store there. You can get the hats that John and I have on. And also you can see some of the work of Working Web Media. They hooked us up with our new site. So you can go check them out if you need help you got a small business, you need help with your website, maybe just some online presence assistance. Head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. They'll know that we sent you their way, and it's a nice page with a form. You can set up time to interact with them, set up a meeting, and you can talk through what they can do to help you out. So be sure to go check them out as well. But yeah, dude, didn't hear a lot of Rocky Top, which is always good, other than when Dolly sang it, which we don't need to talk about that again. But always nice to silence that crowd.
Apologies if you were a fan of that performance, but I would say that she's probably had better performances.
Dude, I mean, she couldn't hear she couldn't, without being able, she couldn't hear anything. So I think her timing was off because she couldn't hear what was going on. That's hard.
Yeah.
So
bless her heart.
I did see. Have you seen the pictures? Like it's photoshopped, but she was wearing like it was from another event or something.
Another era.
Yeah, and she's like wearing like red clothing, and so someone like photoshopped a G on it. It was like Dolly has entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, I saw that. I also saw the one where she's like dressed in red with her hands up like there said "Go Dogs." The Dolly memes were amazing.
Those were good. Those were good. And I know also a friend of the show, George Foster, was at this game. He said this was the first time he'd gone up there since the Hobnail Boot. He'd never been there as a fan. So he was there. He went up with like Charles Grant and some other guys.
I saw those guys. Yeah, they had some good videos that they posted there.
I was gonna say, did you see the one that George was like filming as he's walking through the stadium?
Yes.
When he got there, I was kind of like, I was trying to like people watch the people to be like to see them like reacting to like George Foster and Charles Grant walking past because they're so tall.
Humans.
they're so tall.
Yeah. I was actually impressed with like some of them. I don't know if he was like holding the camera down or what, but like I was dang, some of these guys are tall.
George probably like had the camera at his waist or something.
Yeah, seriously. But I did notice that nobody said anything to them.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Dude, I do have to say, like his video of them like going into the stadium, I guess they were on some kind of like private bus or something like that. It's some executive bus. Man, that thing looks sweet.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one. I saw the one when they were already in the stadium. I need to go back to George's timeline and check that out.
Go check it. Big George, man. Like you gotta roll with George to the game. that was a nice ride.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I gotta go check that out.
They're basically like driving slowly in like a Sprinter executive van, and they're just like videoing all the Tennessee fans doing Rocky Top. Like you could see the band in the background. Like I don't know where they were in relation to tailgates or stadium or what, but like it looked pretty legit.
Nice.
I think. We haven't mentioned we had a nice payday too.
We did have another payday. Yeah, dude. I mean, he's been solid.
Rock solid. I mean, I was a little worried on that field goal on the road. Like it's a loud environment, and he nailed that. He nailed that kick.
I mean, in general, like that was the thing. Was that this was the first? We were at home like the whole season. I mean, we're at home. We had the cocktail party. So I mean, this was definitely, and this in Auburn. I guess I don't know. I mean, which Auburn? Holy cow! All
right, so here's where I think like people talking about like yes, like we had another challenge on the road, all those things, like right.
Mm-hmm.
But earlier in the season, again, like I feel like that this is an evolution of this team has been the injection of youth. CJ Allen didn't play a whole lot in that game, right? Like
right.
I mean, these guys that we've had at our disposal for the entirety of the season are getting worked in because the coaching staff either, I guess, they decided to reward them for their efforts in practice, or the guys, they felt like they weren't getting the production that they expected or that they want, or they weren't playing to the standard, all those different things throughout the season. And it's hard not to notice that when we started playing some of these younger guys that we started getting the results that we were looking for.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I mean, particularly, for the most part, we're talking about the defense, right? Because we never have had that doubt for the offense.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly been centered around the defense, right? And so here's the thing that I'll say about some of that is that if it's kind of like, you remember when we had, I'm not going to bring up he who shall not be named, but it's kind of like if you have a quarterback that the team believes should be playing, or if you have a quarterback that, the team is invested in, or, if you can look to that guy and like, okay, I'm ready to play for you. I'm ready to play for you. But if there's things that are not happening, I'm not suggesting that this is happening. It's just a theory, right? Like, it feels like that they're collectively having fun out there now. Does that make sense? Like, I don't really know how else to describe it, but like, I feel like that even Bullard, who's been an absolute beast, has become even more animated as this team has injected more youth into its lineup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair observation.
Like they're all playing as one kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's been some of the hype videos, right? Like
they are. And I feel like they're playing loose. Like to your point, right? Like they're definitely like you're getting more reactions out of them and everything, which is good for the GIF content. But
So good
other
for
than
the
that,
gift
it's just fun to
content.
watch, right? It's fun to watch. So
Oh my gosh. Thank you for whoever, speaking of gift content, thank you for whoever like asked for the Kirby Carson Beck fist bump. Like
oh yeah.
in the annals of all of the gifts that we have made in the entirety of our tenure here, that might be one of my favorite gifts. And I haven't actually used it yet. I'm kind of like waiting for a special moment to like use it for me personally. I don't know if you posted it from the pod or not, but
I did. So
you did.
I
Nice.
went to go look to see who requested it. So it was Zach. Well, okay. So Zach SC Dog 864. He is who brought it to our attention. But it was Dog Girl 27. Ashley is who she said I need the Kirby Beck fist bump gif. So she tweeted that, and then Zach tagged us, and we made it happen. So
Nice. Yeah, dude.
yeah.
That might be one of my most favorite gifts because I mean, it's like Kirby's not even like looking, he's just like it's
Yeah,
like
dude.
it's kind of like the office gift with Jim and Daryl. And he's
Mm.
not even looking. It's just
All right. I just remembered one more thing that I don't know if we want to talk about this or not.
okay.
But prayers for Andrew Smart living through the
Yes.
wrath of his mom.
Yes. That was definitely a post. That's definitely a post game situation with Andrew. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, it sounds like that. All right. So here's my thing. Like, I feel like that everybody's like thinking that it was like super duper inappropriate, which maybe it
Right.
was, maybe it wasn't. Like,
It's hard to it's hard to tell.
hard to tell.
We don't
It's
know
hard
what he
to
was
tell.
doing.
I can't
Yeah.
really tell what he was doing.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to think that he was doing something like this, but
Yeah.
I could see how you could interpret it another way, which would make it super inappropriate. But
Right. Right. Yeah.
can't
You can't really tell. It was so far
really
away.
tell.
I mean, they zoomed in, but but like all the who was it? Old Rose Sports, I think, is who tweeted out or whatever. But all the replies would be like, Mary Beth's not gonna be happy.
Mary Beth's not going to be happy.
It's like, look, a rage stroke, and it's like a rage stroke from Kirby is one thing, but like I'm pretty sure Andrew's probably needs to be more worried about Mary Beth in that situation.
Yeah, and I made the video. I made the video. Like, what would Andrew be like talking to his mom? Like,
Yeah.
it's like Andrew's like the few good men. Like, you want me on that wall. You need me in that wall. Places deep down inside. and I have to say, if he wasn't, it would make it less fun.
Right, for sure. So, prayers up for Andrew.
Prayers up for Andrew.
Makes it through this rough time. Oh man. So yeah.
Hashtag sorry, Mary Beth.
All right. I had forgotten to bring that up. I wasn't
That-
sure. But I feel like we had to talk about it.
That was a good one. I'm glad that we didn't have that one for the podcast after the podcast.
Oh, we forgot to talk about that.
We forgot to talk about that.
Uh,
What was on the menu? We haven't
too
talked
good.
about menus. What was on your menu for the weekend? I will tell you. I will cut to the chase on my side.
Okay.
We were so strapped for time. Lindsay was out shopping and doing stuff for her sessions next week, and I was doing yard work. Came in super tired. I was like, let's order pizza. So we ordered pizza.
Got it. Yeah, we did. So when the girls came back, Ella made the bean dip. So Ella and Lily they did the shopping. Ella made the bean dip. It was fantastic. So we did
was that the main item?
Well, that was the snack during the game.
Right.
And then so we had we had turkey. So Ella was supposed to buy a small ham. So this is what happens when you send the kids to the grocery store. She's supposed to buy a small ham, came home with a small turkey on accident. It was pretty hilarious, actually. So we ended up having sliced turkey instead of ham, and then green beans and cornbread. But Lily made the cornbread, and it was also excellent. So
It sounds like you guys had a wood Thanksgiving. Like, what's going on?
It was, I don't know. We let the kids. We like sent them to the store. Ella wanted to make the bean dip. We're like, okay, well, you can go to the store. We're like, and you know what? Because we didn't have anything for dinner. We're like, you guys decide what you want for dinner. We'll help you make the list, and then you guys just go do the shopping or whatever. So it worked out.
The joys of having a teenager that can drive.
Right. Yes, we sent them there. They were a team. The only mistake was they came up with turkey instead of ham. which was pretty funny. But it was actually quite good turkey, so it was good. It was cool.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so that was the menu.
All right. Well, we got the bees coming up next, huh?
Yep. On the flats,
Mark Rick Field.
historic Mark Rick Field.
Historic Mark Rick Field. Or do we like legally have to call it like Hyundai?
Dude, on the Bulldog Brunch, Jeff Dancer called it historic Hyundai Field.
Historic Hyundai Field.
It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep, man. Yeah, we'll be back to talk to them, and we will not be talking about the game that's the following week. Because we gotta keep the main thing, focus on the Jackets.
All right, I'll do my best, Jim.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, well, another rocky flop, and off we go. 8-0 in the SEC, and we're off to the races. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.